who are we to judge? Can we judge?
The heart posture of the one who has to choose? What is a heart posture? If you feel real bad about the abortion, God's okay with it now?
Ben Shapiro just obliterates woke culture in Hollywood. The headline practically screams off the page, promising a no-holds-barred verbal takedown from one of America's most outspoken conservative commentators. Ben Shapiro, co-founder of the Daily Wire, is known for his rapid-fire speech, sharp wit, and unyielding dedication to conservative principles. In his latest diatribe, Shapiro takes aim at two of his favorite targets: woke culture and Hollywood. This clash is not just about political ideologies, it's a battle over the soul of American culture and values. Before we start, hit the like and subscribe buttons for more exclusive news. Woke culture, a term that has come to symbolize the social justice movement, emphasizes awareness and activism around issues of race, gender, and inequality. Critics like Shapiro argue that it has morphed into a stifling orthodoxy, silencing dissent and promoting a victimhood mentality. Hollywood, in Shapiro's view, has become the epicenter of this cultural shift, using its vast influence to push a progressive agenda. The entertainment industry, he argues, is less about entertaining and more about indoctrinating, transforming movies and television into vehicles for political messaging rather than storytelling. Shapiro's critique of woke culture is rooted in his belief that it undermines individual responsibility and meritocracy. He argues that the movement's focus on systemic oppression and historical injustices encourages a fatalistic worldview, where individuals see themselves as perpetual victims of an unfair system. This, Shapiro contends, is not only disempowering but also divisive, pitting different groups against each other based on race, gender, and other identity markers. Instead of fostering unity and progress, woke culture, according to Shapiro, creates an environment of perpetual grievance and conflict. Hollywood, for Shapiro, is the prime offender in promoting this ideology. He believes that the industry has abandoned its traditional role of providing escapism and entertainment, opting instead to lecture audiences on social and political issues. Shapiro cites numerous examples of movies and TV shows that he claims are more interested in virtue signaling than in telling compelling stories. From the casting choices to the plot lines, Shapiro sees a deliberate effort to push progressive values, often at the expense of narrative quality and audience enjoyment. One of Shapiro's main criticisms of Hollywood's embrace of woke culture is what he perceives as its hypocrisy. He points out that while the industry preaches inclusivity and diversity, it often fails to live up to these ideals behind the scenes. Despite the public rhetoric, Hollywood remains a highly exclusive and hierarchical industry, with significant barriers to entry for many aspiring artists and creators. Shapiro argues that this disconnect between the industry's lofty ideals and its actual practices reveals the superficial nature of its commitment to social justice. Shapiro's takedown of Hollywood and woke culture is not just a critique, it's also a call to action. He urges conservatives to create their own cultural institutions and content, challenging the dominance of progressive voices in entertainment. This vision is already taking shape through platforms like the Daily Wire, which has begun producing its own movies and TV shows. Shapiro believes that by offering alternative narratives and perspectives, conservatives can reclaim a share of the cultural landscape and provide audiences with content that reflects their values. However, Shapiro's arguments are not without their detractors. Critics argue that his portrayal of woke culture and Hollywood is overly simplistic and fails to acknowledge the genuine progress that has been made in terms of representation and inclusivity. They contend that while there may be excesses and missteps, the broader movement has brought important issues to the forefront and has contributed to a more equitable society. Furthermore, they argue that Shapiro's emphasis on individual responsibility can overlook the systemic barriers that many people face. In discussing Hollywood's influence, Shapiro often references specific examples to illustrate his points. He critiques the recent trend of gender swapping and race swapping in classic films and franchises, arguing that these decisions are often more about appeasing social media activists than about genuine artistic intent. Shapiro believes that these changes can feel forced and detract from the original stories and characters, alienating longtime fans and diminishing the artistic integrity of the works. Shapiro's critique also extends to the world of comedy. He argues that woke culture has created an environment where comedians are constantly walking on eggshells, afraid of offending someone and facing backlash. This, he claims, has led to a decline in the quality and daringness of comedy, with many comedians opting for safe, politically correct jokes rather than pushing boundaries and challenging audiences. Shapiro laments the loss of the irreverent, provocative humor that once characterized the genre, replaced by what he sees as sanitized, agenda-driven content. Despite his harsh criticisms, Shapiro does acknowledge that not all of Hollywood is complicit in promoting woke culture. He praises certain creators and projects that prioritize storytelling and artistic excellence over political messaging. Shapiro points to examples like Top Gun: Maverick and The Mandalorian as instances where the focus remained on delivering engaging entertainment rather than pushing a particular agenda. These successes, he argues, demonstrate that there is still a demand for content that transcends political divides and resonates with a broad audience. Shapiro's engagement with these cultural issues also touches on broader societal trends. He argues that the rise of woke culture and its permeation into Hollywood is indicative of a larger shift in American society towards collectivism and away from individualism. Shapiro believes that this shift undermines the foundational principles of the United States, such as personal freedom and accountability. By promoting a collectivist mindset, he argues, woke culture encourages people to see themselves primarily as members of groups, rather than as individuals with unique capabilities and responsibilities. In addition to his critiques, Shapiro offers solutions for what he sees as the cultural malaise. He advocates for a return to classical liberal values, emphasizing the importance of free speech, open debate, and individual merit. Shapiro encourages people to engage with ideas they disagree with, rather than seeking to silence them. He believes that through robust discussion and debate, better ideas will prevail, and society as a whole will benefit. This, he argues, is in stark contrast to the cancel culture that he believes has taken hold in many areas of public life, including Hollywood. Shapiro's perspective is also shaped by his own experiences in the media industry. As a conservative commentator, he has often found himself at odds with the mainstream media and entertainment sectors. This has given him a unique vantage point from which to critique these industries. Shapiro's insights are informed not only by his ideological beliefs, but also by his first-hand experiences of navigating an environment that is often hostile to conservative viewpoints. This personal dimension adds a layer of authenticity to his arguments, making them resonate with many of his followers. The influence of Shapiro's ideas extends beyond his immediate audience. As a prominent figure in conservative media, his critiques and recommendations carry weight within the broader conservative movement. His calls for creating alternative cultural institutions and content have inspired others to follow suit, leading to a growing ecosystem of conservative media and entertainment. This, in turn, has contributed to a more pluralistic cultural landscape, where different perspectives have the opportunity to be heard and appreciated. Shapiro's confrontations with woke culture in Hollywood are also part of a larger cultural war that is playing out in American society. This war is characterized by deep divisions over issues such as race, gender, and identity, with both sides accusing each other of intolerance and extremism. Shapiro's role in this conflict is both as a commentator and a combatant, using his platform to articulate the concerns and frustrations of those who feel alienated by the dominant cultural narrative. His fiery rhetoric and unyielding stance make him a polarizing figure, but also a significant one in the ongoing cultural debate. The impact of Shapiro's arguments can also be seen in the political realm. His critiques of woke culture in Hollywood often intersect with broader political issues, influencing the discourse around policy and governance. Shapiro's emphasis on individual responsibility and meritocracy aligns with conservative policy proposals that prioritize personal freedom and limited government intervention. By framing cultural issues in these terms, Shapiro helps to bridge the gap between cultural and political conservatism, reinforcing the coherence and appeal of the conservative movement. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, could you leave your comments below and tell us, do you support Ben Shapiro's stance against woke culture in Hollywood? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.